Hey, welcome. We are going to show how to find gankers, their alliances, and how to set the standings for them. So in Killboards, Squiz provided me with a search that basically shows all the ganks here, which might be just going by ganked, and then this shows you everybody who's ganked. Looks like there's been a few today. There's been at least one freighter that was ganked. I'll bet you that they weren't brick tanked, and you can see here some common names in here like safety and safety.net and code, and so primarily there are a few alliances here which are here. So safety.net or safety.net, code dot, and then Novus Ordu, all gank alliances. And so let's take these and look them up in Eve, and then we will we're gonna add. So there's safety dot, and it should show the alliance here. Oh, and here's safety.net. So that might be a different one though. I think it has a different logo, but we'll look. So here is safety. I'm going to right click on them, and I'm going to do add corporate contact. Now, if you're doing this for yourself personally, you just add contact. Since I can do it for my corporation, I'm going to add corporate contact, and then I am going to set them to a bad standing or terrible standing. Now, right now they're neutral, and I'm not sure which would be the best. Whether I just is there anything more egregious than these guys running around ganking people? And do I I'm going to associate a color with them, so maybe I'm just going to mark them as red. So, and stuff that's less annoying, I don't know, you could. I'm just going to give them terrible standing, and then I'm going to add them as a contact. And now they're set to red. So this safety.net, wonder if this is the same one. Oh yeah, so here they have an updated logo here. It's not updated in here for some reason. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with them. I'm going to add a corporate contact. By adding corporate contact, so everybody who's in my corp, in my my personal corp, is then going to see these same standings. And so here we are. We're making them terrible and adding that as a contact as well. I think they might get a notification that you've added them as a contact. So I don't know if you can set their standing without adding them as a contact. I think they have to be a contact. So then we're going to look for code, which was also on this list here. And there is code. I already have them marked. You can see here, I already have them marked. So, and they are a contact. And so I could edit the contact. They're terrible standing. And so the reds I'm seeing around might already be code. And then there's one last one that I'm going to add. It's this Novus Ordu. I don't know what that means, but you can add them. And Going to add contact. Oh yeah, they're gankers too. Look at that. All right, terrible standing, add them, and there we go. Now, when I am here, it might need a session change, but this is how they'll show up. So anyone who I've marked this way is going to show up, and I can show info on them, and then they are a member of I have are they a member of goons? Oh, I have goons marked red. How about that? All right. Well, depends on what you need. I'm not so sure that goons marked red is appropriate. I'm going to leave it the way it is for now. But there you go. So you can add an individual, or you can add a corporation, or you can add an alliance. And then if you own your own corporation, you can set it for all your members in the corporation, or you can set it for yourself. So hopefully that helps for some visualization on when you are flying as to whether or not some of the potentially hostile people are around. And there may be others too that are purely, ganking based. But those are the main ones. You could drill down in killboards and see more, and look at their stuff. But there you go. That's how it's done. Fly safer. Now we're going to do some hauling. You went over 12 years without a loss, and Nova ganked you in HiSec. Yeah. So, well, that's the thing, So it's just good knowledge to have. It won't actually keep you from getting ganked, but you will see more. Like, okay, so if you were mining, let's say, and you are this next system will probably be a better example because JITA is really hard to give a good example on this. But if you're mining and you got like 10 other people in system or whatnot, and they're all gray, and then 5, 10, 20 of the reds show up in local, it's time to go to a safe. Because if you are out in an area where they're trying to gank miners or whatnot, you could be their next target. And so it's just a really good visual to know about your, the environment around you. You saw them take down an Ark earlier today? It must have been a war deck, because it doesn't show up on the ganked list. Actually, not everything always shows, but yeah. Oh, they tried to and it failed. Yeah, okay. You can get even higher EHP on jump freighters. The stiletto on the gate. He's red. Could be somebody sitting here scanning. No, he's moving through. But you see them in scanning ships. What's the best tank fit for jump freighter? Well, so jump freighters I have different recommendations for the fit. And basically, you fit however you want to. And the so like here we go for the other system. We can see most everybody in here, and then you see a whole bunch of red sprinkling in here, you know that there's hostile inbound. For jump freighters, see, jump freighters are different because when you're in null, you are jumping to
Welcome
you are
to the
jumping to a
Dragons.
Sino.
Can 9 in just followed.
And K9, thank you for the follow, welcome. And you are doing the same in LoSec as well. You would follow a different set of rules. It doesn't matter how you're fit, because you're not jumping in when there's hostiles around your beacon. You're just not. And if you do that right, you're never at risk. So the only portion that is of issue is your jump from low sec to high sec. And that jump right there, I always use a scout. Always. I already have my Sino character there, so they can go onto the other side of the gate and be a scout. They're not going to bump you typically on the station where you're at when you undock and keep you from warping. That's not the usual. I mean, I suppose they could, but you know, you undock and you see a bunch of people there, you just stop and instantly dock again. And if even if they're coming at you to bump you, the chances of them bumping you out of the station area before you are able to dock again is very, very low. You'd have to not be paying attention. And if you're using the ultimate in protection, you have another Sino that's ready to light that is not the other guy sitting in high sec who's watching. And because then you'd just do an instant jump. So you wouldn't undock until you had the ability to jump. So the oh, look at that. Wonder what's going on in here. They're already flashing, which means that the danger is probably already passed. So they are typically not red flashing, going to land on a gate on you. Are these guys autopiloting? No, they're all headed to same place I am. We're going to see if they're autopiloting. That's not enough ships to take them out, though. Unless they're bigger ships and these guys are like triple cargo expanded. So, and we'll know whether or not these guys are autopiloting by whether or not they're still at the gate here whenever I land. I will autopilot an obelisk. I don't have any problem autopiloting it. You know, especially if it's empty and brick tanked still. I don't have a problem autopiloting it. But, you know, hauling stuff, I have my limits on when I would autopilot and where I would autopilot. These guys are still here. They are autopiloting. Or are they? Am I just faster than them? I mean, because they're damn slow. If I don't think I'm warp any faster than them. Yeah, the emergency Sino for your jump freighter. So going back to the jump freighter stuff, going into high sec, you're going to be fitted however is appropriate with your scout. A lot of times I will be speed fit with a jump freighter in going into high sec when the coast is clear. If the coast isn't clear, I'm actually not gonna jump. I'm just gonna wait until it is. I almost died once in a jump freighter, but I've never died in a jump freighter. I did get alphaed by a Nix one time at Undock, and that was my inexperience that that got me in that situation. Now that I have the experience, I see somebody else out there that can light a Sino, I just dock right back up. So, hey Brian, nice to see you. Yeah, I think these guys are actually not autopiloting. They're just waiting on each gate. They are deciding, oh, interesting. They are deciding to go a different direction. They decided not to go through the gate. I wonder if they have a scout here and they saw something they didn't like. I don't see anything that's a problem. All right. I'm continuing on. Now that I'm in Lone Trek and I'm hauling a contract here, let's see if there's any contracts available here. Noni to Jita. These all pay 20 million. Collateral 50 million. Only 50 million? It's an even amount. It might be cargo containers. They're paying 20 million though. And these are all low sec. Not gonna entertain that. All right, so we've already got our return trip. Great. Rosenbach? Blue? That planet effect, wow. That was kind of cool. Some of the new looks of the planets are interesting. They redid the planets. Right, David. Free is free if you pick me. Ah, I must have gotten a giveaway entry. Yeah, we do have some giveaways up today. Exclamation point giveaway. Get in on them. And we'll draw one or more of them today during the show.
Welcome to the Dragons.
Gracie 1045 just followed.
Gracie, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Gracie, new capsuleer. All right, welcome. Yes, feel free to ask any questions. We may have answers. Eve is so big that you won't be able to Google everything. And you know, things change all the time too. So good resource. People are streaming. Yeah. You regret that you watched the Summer Game Fest. All right. Is it because there was nothing there for you? Or you saw something that made you upset? You've been focusing on industry and mining for 4 days, enjoying it so far. Found a nice corp with active fleets. Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. You already got hooked up with a corp and everything, and it seems to be working out. That's awesome. So just remember, as a new pilot and working with a corporation, there are some scummy corporations out there that will appear to be really great and legit. And they'll encourage you to keep all of your ships in like your corporate hangar and stuff like that. And when you build up enough wealth, they then kick you from the corp and take all of your stuff, and then you're just out of luck and starting over again. So keep your stuff in your personal hangars, not in the corporate hangar. And That's my only advice. So, and don't go buying things for them and stuff. You know, if they ask you to contribute in certain ways and you're suspect about it, ask somebody else what they think. And so, yeah. Most corporations will fund themselves through your ratting or through a mining tax or something like that, and or they'll do buyback, and you know, sell them your ore at a little bit reduced rate so that they make a profit, whatnot. There's a lot of scams out there, and they're allowed in EVE. It is one of the things about EVE is that people do not have to be honest in the game. Now, if they tell you to pull out your credit card and buy them something or whatnot and steal shit from you, that is a whole different story. That's not okay. But in game, if they're like, oh yeah, park all your ships here, that's where they belong, we want to be able to see what you've got or something like that, the answer is no. It's just no. Or they have to have a darn good reason. Now, if you're sharing ships, then they should be provided by the corp, and they make it useful to you, and then you put it back in there for the next person to use when you're done. That's a different story, if they're providing it at the start. So, yeah. Here's an arc. That is a jump freighter. Interesting. And then there's a Providence, which looks very much like the arc, but worth 20% of the value of the arc. Is this guy really frickin' autopiloting? The arc is autopiloting? That arc is autopiloting. There are some people in the game that you just can't teach good skills to. There are some people in the game who lose a Providence to a gank because they were autopiloting, and then, I kid you not, they come to us, to our store, they buy more Plex, they go and turn it into ISK, they go buy themselves another arc, and they do it again. Just because somebody has nice ships in the game doesn't mean they know how to fly them. Yeah. Oh, so STS Desiree, he didn't like Steamfest because he had 3 games on his wish list that he wanted before, and now he has 20. That's why it was a problem. Well, they did their job well then, didn't they? Their list of discount code for the store, use the same one if you want to support other ones. So Edo Killer, some other streamers have discount codes. You'd have to ask them. So they might have a command in chat or whatnot. On our newsletter, if you get the newsletter, at the bottom of the newsletter we list like 5 people. We list some streamer, YouTuber, a couple of fan sites, and each one of them have on their websites discount codes, and it'll support them. So yeah, I mean, just use whatever you got, and you may as well use whoever you're already enjoying. And if you're watching somebody or using a fan site or whatnot and you want to support them and they are not working with us, tell them to contact me. I'll be happy to set them up. So the more fan sites and streamers and YouTubers that we can support, the better. It just grows the whole community. So we are definitely all about that. We are sending out an incredible amount of dollars to our content creators and fan sites that we're supporting. So it's actually, the numbers have been quite large lately. So it's good for us and good for them. Have I ever played 7 Days to Die? Yeah, dude, we played it. I played it with you. I know, the game's been out forever. Memory's the first to go. Yeah, you remember when we played the first alpha? Yeah, I have not played it. I have not played it lately. So, yeah, I have not played 7 Days to Die lately, and I know they had a big update and stuff. I still would love to work with them, but I've talked to them a few times. They just, they're happy with the way they're doing things, so. Amaziva? Check in Discord. I wrote to you. If you're still here. Yeah, Star Citizen steals a lot of concepts from Eve. No kidding. The Vulture. Or whatever it is. The one that looks just like the Venture. I would love to really like Star Citizen, but I think that I feel burned by them before the game has even really started. So I was hour one on Kickstarter, you know, put my money in. I played it a little bit, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. I spent maybe a couple hours in it. And then I just was like, okay, I'm waiting for the game to come out, and I still feel like it hasn't really come out. So Only the Vulture? Oh, for Star Citizen copying stuff, well, I can say that, that I've not paid close attention in quite a while. Brian says, great show. Thank you, buddy. Big Papa, hello. All right, I'm 2 jumps from delivering, and then I'll be able to head over and pick up this other one that's going to Jita. See if anything new has popped up. Nope, these are all in low sec. So I don't know if people actually run those. You'd take a deep space transport to run them, and they don't pay super high, and so it's kind of like, I'm not sure that I understand, to get me to go into low sec. I think it would take more, although if that's right on the border, like there's a high sec system right next door and that system's usually empty and you're using scouts or whatnot, if it's usually empty, then okay, well, it could be easy money. But Jita was full of gankers earlier? Yes. So, yep. Just a normal Saturday? Yep. Yeah, for those of you watching on YouTube, we're recording this on Saturday. Nice and slow. Oh, now look at that. Alrighty. Who's living here? What's going on here? That's a lot of red.
Drive active.
Yeah. That's enough to attempt some ganks on some people. It's been hot in Torino's last couple days. All right, well, that's where I'm going. Whee! Yep. All right. Sometimes they'll sit in the system next door and then come in. Yeah. Oh, I guess there's a hug command, Nick Pa. Look at that. I didn't know. I'm not too worried. That's not enough ships to take me out. Why is my last destination not lit up?
Drive active.
Interesting. Making okay money today. You know, I could be running like 4 freighters at once and have all of them running contracts, have all of them sit under an amount where it's okay that if I wanted to have them autopilot, I could. And literally, I have a whole network set up so that I can grab stuff wherever and do it. Now, my network of contract pickers. So I have a contract picker in every high-sec region. I have a character that sits there. And so if I were to scan contracts for the entire game, or all of high-sec, then I see one that I want, then I could log out of this guy and log into the other guy. And they're primarily alphas. So, you know, I'd have to log out of my other characters. But I can do that and then log back in and continue on. But with 4, if I were to take 4 freighters like this out, and I were to say set the limit at 1 billion on each of them, and autopilot everywhere but through Udema, anything that went through Udema, we would fly manually through. But what I would do is I would have them stop at a station before going through Udema for a cooldown in case they were scanned, and then go through. And I would go take them through manually and then set them to autopilot again. And 4 of them, we could sit here for 6 hours doing that, and I could make 1 billion in payments, in contract payments. But you have to have like 10 billion in capital to be able to grab all of the stuff. So yeah, here's why it didn't show up. It's we're delivering to a citadel. All right. Now, if they had blocked docking, you can right-click and open cargo deposit and put it in there and qualify for delivery. So, because there used to be a thing where they would put up the contracts and then they'd make it so you couldn't dock at the station, and then you're like, well, shit. So, but that was the fix for that. All right, we're delivering this one. And deliver courier package. There we go. Got paid. Okay. And I'll do one more check to see if there's... Oops, that's not what I was wanting to look at. Do one more check to see if there's anything else around. The next one we're picking up, I kid you not, the collateral is only 50 million. It's possible that they missed a 0 or 2. And we're going to find something juicy in there. But I don't know. We'll find out.
Warp drive active.
One of your coalition citadels? All right. Now, you'll notice that I'm remaining brick tanked, and that's because it's a policy of mine. Now, I'd be perfectly happy with autopiloting here. I'd have no problem with doing that. as long as I was still brick tanked. And so, but I just have a policy of staying brick tanked and not violating that. It's my personal choice. Keeps my ship alive. Autopiloting or auto tanking? Oh, well, auto tanking happens all the time, anytime. But yeah, I have no problem autopiloting, but there's no sense in it. We're here, we're paying attention to it. I can click the button to go to the next jump. But if we were doing something else at the same time, which we could be, I have another ship up over here for doing some ratting. But the ratting one, we're gonna have to pay closer attention to it because it's in hostile territory. So that's why I haven't done much with it yet this morning. What do I mean by brick tanked? This right here. Reinforced bulkheads. I call them bricks. Other people call them bricks as well. I don't know why, but we do. Anyway, reinforced bulkhead 2s. Gives you the highest EHP possible. Makes it much harder for them to gank you. I could put in like stuff to warp faster, stuff to align faster. I could put in cargo expanders so I could hold more. But I don't do any of that. I don't accept any contracts that require me to cargo expand out. My contract chooser that I have here, it won't allow for any of that. So I have not been ganked in many years. It doesn't mean it can't happen, because it can. It's just that my policy, my way of doing this, it makes me a very unlikely target. They look at me and they're like, we've got better stuff to do. Oh, hey, that Gnosis just scanned me. And now he sees I have nothing on board. Well, I have a Council diplomatic shuttle worth 2.9 million. So, yep. Yes, and nothing in EVE is ever safe. When you undock, you're not safe, even if you're in high sec where it should be safe. And that's just part of the stuff. You have to look at your ships as ammunition. Eventually they get spent. So, yeah, I'm sure he scanned me and he's like, nah. And he's potentially scanning for these other guys here, which we marked as potentially hostile. Okay, we'll go through here, and then I'm going to look at contracts again before we get there. And I'm going to expand it to all regions. And we'll take a look at some of them. High sec is the most dangerous space. Well, I actually think low sec is the most dangerous, but I can see a case being made for that. All right, so here, if we look for just the current region, I've already looked at these. That's in low sec. We're not going there. And so we're going to take it from current region to all regions, and we're going to see what's what in here. So here's one that's 48 jumps, pays 39 million. It's 195 million collateral. It's only 52 cubic meters. You could run that in a small, you could run that in a frigate. Here's one that pays 30 million and it is 32 jumps. You know, Here's one that's 1.4 billion. It pays 120 million for 41 jumps. Now that right there, that looks interesting. And it's not in low sec. That looks very interesting. But I'm not there. But if I had my contract pickers up, then I would go and pick that for the corp and then go and do it. It's a lot of jumps, 41 jumps, but it pays 120 million. That one looks pretty good. Here's one that is 14 jumps, 1 billion collateral, 30 million. That looks pretty good too. 45 jumps paying 28 million, 1.4 billion. That one's horrible. They're not in a hurry, that's for sure. Here's 40 million for 48 jumps. Here's 30 million for 33 jumps, and it's worth 350 million. It's not very big. That one actually is not too bad of a contract. It's because, why I say that is because at 350 million on the collateral, you then have more collateral room for picking up a second thing somewhere along the way and running that as well, so that you can turn that into, it's 33 jumps and 30 million. You can make that well over $1 million per jump by, adding on a second contract. Or anything else really interesting. So I list these in order of the newest at the top, so that when I do a search, I'm always seeing the newest stuff and can cherry pick when something's really good, if you're quick enough. So and I wonder why nobody's done this one. It's been out there for 2 hours. It must just be really remote area. So, all right, I'm going to change it back to current region. So I'm just running one guy. What do I aim for per jump when selecting contracts? 1 million per jump per billion. And but anything over that is gravy, but that's about the lowest I want to do. But if I can do, 2 or 3 contracts simultaneously that, meet those requirements, and they happen to be small enough, and the collateral is small enough that I can fit all 3, and I can still not go over 1.5 billion in total value. Sometimes I'll sit in Jita and just pick off stuff going to Amar when I know I have stuff down in Amar that I want to pick up. And I'll just sit there for a few hours looking at contracts, and I'll grab a couple of them, kind of get it put together, and then run 2 or 3 of them at once.
Warp drive active.
Can anyone account do this gameplay? Yes. So, I'm on a single account right here, and I'm hauling these contracts. I do have the ability to ramp it up to do more, and so I could get more volume and everything, but it's very doable on a single one. So I tried running everybody in Fenrir's once, because they could be faster at alignment, which meant you got there faster. And so I could maximize money for time, but I got a couple of them ganked, and so decided that Fenrir's were not right for me, even though they're probably my favorite looking freighter and favorite performance of a freighter. Now the Avalanche is going to be interesting. I don't know what the total cargo hold size is, if it's a brick tank. But there's indication that we're going to be able to use propulsion alignment to get to warp faster. So I'm looking forward to that. What do I think about the Providence? How worse is the tank thing? So, the only right answer, thank you, Tanker, for reposting that. The only right answer is to fly the Obelisk. And the only right fit is brick tanked. That is going to always be my answer, except for very, very certain circumstances, like if you're shuttling, you know, mass amounts of ore between two stations in a system because you got to take it over to the refiner or whatnot, then, you know, cargo expand all the way on a Charon so you can fit as much as possible and do it. But that's within a system. You have a lot more control over that. But if you're hauling contracts or you're hauling stuff all over the place, the Obelisk, even though it is the ugliest of all the freighters, it's absolutely ugly. It's a giant potato. And it is the slowest, but it has the highest EHP. And so it's the hardest to gank. The harder you are to gank, the more survivability you have. The Providence is known for being an all-around middleman. It's a middle option. So the highest EHP is on the Obelisk. The lowest EHP and the highest alignment time is on the Obelisk too. The lowest alignment time and the lowest EHP is the Fenrir. The highest amount of cargo is the Charon, and the Providence is the most well-rounded. So it sits kind of in the middle on its alignment time and on its resistances and on its cargo size. So it's kind of the jack of all trades. But jack of all trades, master of none. The right answer is still the Obelisk. That is the right answer. So, yeah, what do I think about about running a Providence? I think it's great if its name is Obelisk. Yeah, I know this ship is ugly and stuff, but it's the right answer. And I have flown.
in 3131 just followed.
Sassian, thank you for the follow. Welcome. I have flown all of the freighter types, and I've played with all of them. And for me, it all comes down to survivability. In other words, I prefer the Obelisk? No, the right answer is the Obelisk. It's not a preference. I'm telling you what the right answer is. Seriously. The Obelisk is the right answer. So, I'm telling you what you should like. I know. That sounds crazy. People don't like to be told. But there's plenty of proof to back up what I'm saying. There are plenty of ganks out there to back up what I'm saying. Obelisk with the proper fit. We could do a study. Well, I wonder if Squiz could do this in his database. it would be what percentage of obelisks are ganked, brick tanked, not ore brick tanked, but just regular brick tanked, against the percentages of the other freighters who are, they could be brick tanked or they could be, whatever. It's like, what are the percentages? Or we just, to make it easy, we look at brick versus brick tank on all 4 freighters. And, which ones are more common. Although that might not work out because we don't know how many are being flown. We only know how many are being killed. Yeah, we'd have to know how many are being flown and how many jumps, because you'd have to calculate in the jumps as well for making a true stat. I'm not sure we could get a true stat. So I can tell you that in the episodes of Ganked that we've done, that there's been no obelisk ganked, brick tanked with 1.5 billion or less in cargo in it. I think we may have seen one that had like an insane amount of cargo value in it. But see, that's also part of the equation, is you don't carry too much in value. When you carry too much in value, you become a target. All right, if you're watching on YouTube, see you in the next episode.